Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Innovators Corner. Just one quick announcement. If you visit or have not visited the exhibits yet, please do so today. Enjoy them, talk to the people, and make sure you do it today because these exhibits will change tomorrow. We'll have all new exhibits, so please come back and enjoy those exhibits also. I'm very honored to be able to introduce our introduction speaker, Honorable Dr. Bruce Jette, who is the Assistant Secretary of the Army for Acquisition, Logistics, and Technology.
Well, good morning, and thanks for coming to Innovators Corner. Got a pretty good crowd here. So I've got this nice little prepared speech. We're going to hit some of the points on there, but I really want to talk to you a little bit about Innovators Corner. Innovators Corner has been around since 2014. The AUSA annual meeting started it, and I'm kind of fond of it because just 3 months ago I was one of you guys. I was a contractor doing work. Well, I didn't just do work for the government. I also did work, actually, AUSA was one of my clients. And we worked with them to try and bring in for the Army innovation and see if we could find a way to draw in companies that didn't really do a lot of work with the government. Get that innovative thought that's out there in the smaller industries and the smaller spaces that just haven't, the energy barrier to coming in and working with the military, it's a pretty big hurdle. I mean, all of you know this, and I've been, on your behalf, I've been informing the leaders in the Pentagon who have never been involved with business of some of the challenges that you all have to face to try and do work with the military. They've never applied for a DUNS number. They've never gone on SAM and tried to figure out, under penalty of law, did I really comply with that FAR clause? You know, I mean, and if I'm a small company, mom and pop, but I'm doing something really innovative and new, and I decide I want to participate in maybe share one of my new ideas with the military, with the Army. Well, before we can do business with you, you've got to get a DUNS number. That actually is not that hard, but it's sort of like, okay, fine, I'll figure that out. And then you say, I'm going to go on that SAM site and start doing something, and you pull up the SAM site, and you start reading some of those things. And it's not like I don't know a little bit about acquisition, and I get on that SAM site, and I go, am I really complying with that clause? I have no idea. I think I know what it says. Yes, okay, fine. Small companies are not necessarily going to take that risk. They just look at it and say the energy barrier is too high. So they walk away. So we need a place where they can bring their ideas and display them. And that was fundamentally what the original objective of Innovators Corner was when it first started. Now it's had little different themes over a period of time. We've got the tech base of the Army here. You've got a lot of displays of different technologies that have been being worked inside of the lab system. But what that also does is it brings the people from the lab system here that may be good people to begin having conversations with, to see if they can help some of you get past some of those hurdles. So I think if I was to tell you that the biggest objective I had of trying to encourage anybody to participate and bring other companies forward that you might be able to encourage to come here is to you know, we've lowered that energy barrier. Let's use this as a method of doing that. I know all of you go online and try to read or watch the testimonies of the various political appointees. If you were really bored and you went online and watched mine, one of the things I said to the senators at the SASC was we have 5,000 companies that are defense contractors. And the reason I know that is because I got this ethics letter that said you may not own or have any financial interest in the following 5,000 companies. So there's 5,000 of them out there. But there are 23 million corporations in the United States of various types, LLCs, S Corps, C Corps, etc. I got 23 million companies that make everything else in the United States. I got 5,000 of the companies building what we buy in the military. That's too big a disparity. We need to make it easier for those other companies to become participants in our business. Now, some of you are from Lockheed and Raytheon and some of the bigger companies, GD, et cetera. I know you've got small business partnerships, and I would just tell you that you might want to take a look at being a little bit more aggressive at it, bringing their technologies forward, getting them in the front, maybe putting you in the back seat. One of the things we're doing, and what I'm going to do here today is I'm going to be announcing something. We have a new initiative, the Army Technology Incubator and Accelerator Program. The idea is to enable the Army to bridge that gap between the small companies that want to participate, that want to come here, that want to present their information, want to get us encouraged to use their technology, and moving it from just simply a show and tell to a contract. Okay. So, if you've ever watched Shark Tank, they come in, they make a presentation, and at the end, people invest, or they don't invest. Depends on the need, depends on the quality of the product. What we're doing is we're in fact trying to put that in place through this new program. So companies will be able to come in, get their presentation in place, and at the end, something akin to an SBIR phase 1 will be put on the table. That can lead to a phase 2. We'll shepherd them and bring them along so they can get them past that energy barrier of trying to figure out how the heck do I do business with the government. We're looking to do this at the AOSA here and at the AOSA in October. We're also looking to expand it to other forums, perhaps to try and reach out at small communities, communities where you don't have to buy a plane ticket to come talk to the Army. You can still come in and see us, and we're going to give you feedback. We're going to talk to you. We're going to learn from you. We're going to interact with you, and perhaps we'll do a letter contract with you. We'll definitize quickly thereafter, and we'll get you on contract. We'll get you tied in with somebody that may be able to leverage the technology and see if we can push it forward faster. So, you know, you heard the Secretary this morning talking about trying to do things quicker. Well, this is an example. Been in the job 2.5 months, and we're going to put this in place. Secretary said do it faster. We want to bring in new technologies. That's what it's for. AOSA has been good enough to put together the Innovators Corner and provide a forum for doing that. We're going to be leveraging it. ARCIC is providing a review from the operator's perspective of the technologies that are being presented, and frankly, they're going to vote. Can I figure out how I can use this technology or not? And then we're going to put a contract in place. So I think that that's probably the biggest and most important change that we're starting to look at. There'll be some evolution to it. I think the Secretary there was some talk about, you know, whatever Army's Futures Command is, it'll probably change a bit over time as we give and take a little bit on its path forward. Same thing here. We're going to refine it and make sure it's effective. Our fundamental objective is to make sure that we can reach out and bring in some of the most innovative new ideas and technologies. And notice I haven't limited what people can bring in. I mean, new shoelaces. I'm good with new shoelaces. We have a lot of boots, okay? You do know the top six. Top six aren't changing. Long-range precision fires, next-generation combat vehicle, future vertical lift, Army networks, air and missile defense, and soldier lethality. We do have on the table right now a set of technology areas that we think are underpinning in these, those six, which are critically important. Directed energy, artificial intelligence, ultra-designed materials, quantum and internet, quantum computing, Internet of Things, command and control, position navigation, and precision timing. So there are, and that list may migrate over time. So I would just tell you, as you think about where you might look at technology opportunities, this is one of the places. Dr. Tom Russell's my DASA for research and development, and Tom is going to be leading this effort. And we're going to be looking at alternate sites as well. So let me halt there, and rather than just stepping off the stage, let me go ahead and open it up, and you all can ask some questions if you'd like. And let's see, my handler, how long do I have?
As long as you need.
How many? 5, okay. The real people who keep me like on schedule. So, any questions? Sir.
Thank you. Bob Quinn from Applied Research Associates. We've had some interaction with DIUX, and as you were explaining the new initiative, it sounded an awful lot like what they've been tasked to do from the Secretary of Defense to bring in new technologies and through OTAs start rapid procurement with individual companies. And I just didn't know the difference between the, it seems like there are multiple ways of getting new companies into the defense mix.
I think the next time I do this, I got to get myself a wearable mic. I hate standing in front of a podium. Yeah, there's DIUX, and there are some other entities. They tend to be a little bit more oriented on a formal presentation, a formal submission of papers. You kind of have to go to them more than they come to you. We're trying to look at providing opportunities for perhaps a less formal setting, something that will allow people that have never done anything where they're looking for venture capital, but they have ideas that, and I'm not talking about just, there'll be a screening process. So before you get up here, just like in the actual Shark Tank, I mean, you see 3 in an episode or 4 in an episode, there are probably 50 that apply. There'll be a screening process to get to those that have some relevance to what we're trying to do and are of a maturity level that it makes sense to take a look at. And then we'll shepherd them forward. So they don't have to go through the same type of pursuit of funding that you would normally do. The DIUX guys are sort of, I think, more focused on venture capital type submissions. So this is just, hey, I as a small business would like to do something more in line with the SBIR type program. Does that answer? Anybody else?
Sir, the timeline, Sir Ken Napier, the timeline on the SBIRs can stretch out. I mean, if you're not careful, by the time you got 2 cycles coming out a year, and by the time it really turns into a long process. Now, you get funded.
It's not an SBIR program. It's like an SBIR. I'm trying to make it easy to understand the basics, it's just funding. Funding is something more like a phase one SBIR or less. We have, what we're going to look at is on the individual company. So I'm not gonna throw, you know, okay, if you got a $20 million desire, I'm not gonna put 20 million on the table. Okay, we're gonna have to court each other a little bit here. Particularly for small companies, you know, you can get people with good ideas and real ideas, but they may also, what I've also found because of some of my prior experiences, that you got to spend a little time helping them. Sometimes small companies are very smart, very capable, but they're also very oriented on their product and not on the business aspect of things. If you don't work with them on those things, what you end up with is a mess, and the product never comes out. So scale-wise, you know, you're talking SBIR-style money or less for phase one, and then let's see how we get past the first hurdle. And if we get past what we agreed to do in this first phase of the effort, for whatever the funding actually comes out to be, then we can look at whether or not we want to move to a next step or a next step.
Jacobus, there's also another problem that this doesn't directly address, and I'm just curious your thoughts on it. It's really fairly straightforward for some people to get these phase one, phase twos, and pilots off the ground, and then they hit the wall of death, 7-year wall of death, to get anywhere into essentially a program of record, if you want to call it that.
Right.
So I'm just thinking what your thoughts on that are.
Yeah, it's not just from an SBIR where you hit you get done with the phase two and nobody gets phase three, or very, very, very few get phase threes. The lab system has the same problem. They can't work on a project. They have to have an agreement with the PM. The PM's made the agreement. Yes, I could use your thing, but they don't have a commitment. You know, it's like long distance dating or something. So yeah, this is a real problem, and it's not just with SBIRs. It's with all of our technology transfer. There's this. Everybody's got a valley of death, right? I'm going to show you the standard methodology by which we handle that. We just don't look. We don't address it. So what we're doing is we're actually working on developing a deliberate program and methodology by which we transition projects from one side of that valley to the other side. So we're looking at fencing off money, putting together a board, looking at those things we've spent money on, and I'm going to tell you, if I spent money on 80 projects and I've got 20 of them that are kind of ready to cross the valley, and I can see a program of record on the right side that they could go into, it's just unfair to both the program manager and the technology developer to say, well, you made an agreement, go do it. Because the program manager is sitting there going, well, wait a minute, you told me to make sure I don't mess up my schedule. I've got deliverables, I've got time, I've got project, I've got money, you know, I don't have any additional money, you want to add this thing. That's a lack of leadership. Okay, so my answer is we're going to put together a board, senior leaders, because I hear, you know, I get to hang out with the senior leaders, and senior leaders are, you know, we never get these technology we spend all this money on technology, we never transition it. Okay, well, we set up a system that doesn't transition it. We recognize it, we even have a name for it called the Valley of Death, and then we do nothing about it. So we're doing something about it, and that's what we're going to be doing. So not everybody will transition, but there'll be a deliberate transition, and we'll adjust on both sides. So, okay, they're dragging me away. I hope to see you all at various places here. I hope that was a little informative and encouraging, and I spend time in the Innovators Corner.